Alrighty, welcome to Wisefab. My name is Tarmo. I'm the head of sales and marketing here at Wisefab, and you are in Tallinn, Estonia. So yeah, welcome. I will show you a little around. I will talk a little about Wisefab in general, what we do, who we are. Most of you who are in drifting, you know it already, but just a few facts that might be interesting. So yeah, Wisefab was established 13 years ago by two guys, by Risto and Ardo. Risto is our owner right now. He's the lead engineer and basically the mastermind behind the products. And at that time, when it was established, Ardo was the guy who came up with an idea that we should do that kind of product here in Europe, especially made for drift cars. Ardo is doing nowadays his thing, but other than that, we are still in business. We are growing, we are doing well. And yeah, that's what we do. So this is the suspension what we make. And yeah, Wisefab has been around, as I said, for 13 years. We have around 30 workers right now over there. Slightly we have grown over the time. And this is our facility. And I will show you around a little what we have here.
Let's go.
Let's go then. Some demo items, what you can see here. We're not actually doing only drift cars, which we are the most known, but we also do some suspension for grip racing cars, like time attack cars, and also something for rally cars. So this is, for example, something for Mitsubishi Evolution. So yeah, but let's go to the production and let's see what we have there.
It's a very secret place, yeah?
It is. We're not like open shop, so most people don't get here. But anyways, it's a messy place as we are producing stuff, so it's not like just super shiny store. This is actually area for engineers. This is our own test car. We kind of bought a semi-pro or pro car just for that purpose, that we can have all of our test products on it when we develop. Obviously, we're working together with many drivers all over the world when it comes to any new developments, but the first test by engineers, fitment tests and everything has to be done in-house. So yeah, just a Beamer average car here in Europe, so we have one in-house. So this is their area. When we walk around, you can see already some semi-fabricates here, some welded knuckles. But in reality, it all starts somewhere in this corner. Behind you here, we have the welding area. As it is few days before Christmas, most welders, or actually most people have already left. So we have maybe like 10, 15 guys around right now. But these are the simple tables where all these knuckles and control arms are welded together. So yeah, 3 guys, 8 hours per day, and that's enough for all those kids, to be honest. Just some parts around here, all kind of parts which are not yet bent or ready for welding together. So everything is cut, everything is on the shelves, ready to be put together to some kind of knuckle or arm. Behind you on the other side, we have all kind of test machinery. That's actually the coolest area. I mean, everybody have seen parts and there is nothing too special about making parts out of metal. But all these things are the test equipment for our own product development. So most of the stuff is actually for half shafts or the axles, which is also a very popular product what we have. In addition to control arms, knuckles and angle kits, we're also producing, we call them 1500 horsepower proof axles, which are pretty unique by quite a few features. They're super strong, at the same time they are slightly flexible. So if you clutch kick or pull a handbrake on a wrong time, they don't break, or your suspension doesn't break, or the drivetrain. So it all keeps in one piece. So those machines are built for different tests. Like this machine, for example, this is just to test what happens if 500 Newton meters of torque is used for the axle and it turns 100 kilometers an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. We can see what happens with the CV joints. Are they getting hot? What about the lube, what is inside? How the rubber booth will last, all that kind of stuff. The other one behind is a swing, which we use for basically mimicking the jump with a drift car or a handbrake. So basically there's a big flywheel turning 100 kilometers an hour. There is somewhere a wheel that turns, and then we will put this swing up like this, and it hits the tire. So basically you're landing on a full throttle to the tarmac. And that's necessary to see how the CV joints will take the peak force when they're landing. And also there are some other machines like that. This one is the oldest one, but the most important one. This is a torque machine. So what we do, this has a gearbox. It can go up to 5,000 Newton meters of torque. So basically, between this brake, what you can see there, 2-caliper brake, and between the engine, we're putting the full half shaft there. It turns pretty slowly, and then we're slowing it down with a hydraulic handbrake. It has trigger wheels and all kinds of sensors to measure how much the shaft is twisting and how much torque is used to make it twist. So this is something that basically measures how much torque the shaft can take. So all kinds of machines like this. And this is just we call it guillotine. This is the main machine to test all the control arms, knuckles. Basically, we're putting together the one corner of the car here, smashing it at the same time, measuring with all kinds of sensors and stuff to see, is it strong enough? Or is it too weak? Or is it too strong? All these options are around. So, I mean, especially from our perspective or point of view, parts have to be designed so that they are strong enough, but not too strong. Because, you know, it's easier to replace a control arm instead of replacing a subframe under the car, especially in drifting where we have like 5-minute rule. You don't swap in another subframe in 5 minutes. So yeah, these are like pretty interesting and our own made machines. And let's go forward. Here we have some laser cutting machines. We're basically making 95% of everything in-house. So starting from cutting the steel with the laser cutter, bending, welding, machining, everything is done in-house. The only things what we don't do, these are powder coating and anodizing. These things we're outsourcing. But we have really good partners basically around the corner, so we don't have to worry too much about it. But everything else is done in-house. So yeah, a laser cutting machine. This actually will be replaced with a new one, which is set up right now here. So this new machine should be ready in January for cutting. It cuts 5 times faster and hopefully better. So these are the main machines for steel production. If we walk further, then this is like a simple bending machine what we have for these parts. Nothing too special, but yeah, it can still bend quite complicated parts, which all are necessary for our products. So laser, bending, welding, and yeah, now if you turn to this way, then this is our CNC facility. So we have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 CNC machines. 3 of those are turning machines, and 1, 2, 3 are also milling machines. So this is actually the main area where we're making all the most complicated parts. If we go here to the left side right now, then yeah, those milling machines here are making, you know, are used for different purposes. Right now, guys are working on the knuckles, which are actually steel and welded, but we just want to make sure that the surface, for example, between the wheel bearing and the brake caliper has to be parallel all the time. So these welded knuckles are going to the machine just to make sure that all these surfaces are parallel. We're doing the camber plates, we're doing the aluminum knuckles, we are making some holes and other stuff to pre-cut steel parts. So everything like that, it's also done in-house. And yeah, those machines are pretty heavily used, so we have 2 shifts of people working in this facility. So usually 16 hours per day. So here we have some aluminum parts. Yeah, I can see some E30, 36 parts coming out from here. So both steel and aluminum parts are made with these machines. And yeah, even the absolutely tiniest parts, let me see what we have here. Yeah, like something like that. All these parts are also basically made in-house. So from the big knuckle till the smallest custom washer, everything is done in-house. And yeah, all the material comes from Sweden and Germany. So that's how it is. I mean, yeah, supply chain is pretty good, I would say. But yeah, that's basically it. Behind you, nothing too special over there, but you know, some room for our 3D scanning and other stuff. A garage where we can do this job. And yeah, I would say that's basically it. But what we do now we're going to warehouse, so you can see how it actually looks, how these parts are assembled, and how everything is packed to be ready for the customers. We're doing all these things as well. These are, hubs. So these are just the hubs for our axles, what we produce. We have plenty of different options around. These are also made here at Wisefab. And these are necessary because we have our own outer CV joint, which is pretty big, and it's like universal, what we use for different chassis. So it's easier for us to produce different hubs for different chassis that we will combine with our own axle design. So let's go around to see what we have. This is the quality insurance area where our quality manager is checking the parts before the painting. You can see some familiar brand over here as well, as we are representing in Europe the field suspension owned by Aurimas Pakšis, the famous Lithuanian American formal drift driver. So we are their distributor, and we are stocking their coilovers. So every drifter in Europe is able to buy those. These are really good ones. But let's get to the warehouse. Which way? Let's go this way. Go this way. So this is actually the preparation area. Usually we have quite a few tables on the wheels here, filled with all kinds of parts, and those tables are used for assembling the parts. But as I said, it's just a few days before Christmas, so everybody are kind of starting with their holidays already. So this is the area where all these parts are assembled. They are coming from the paint like this, and they will add all the bolts, nuts, washers, whatever is necessary. So all the bolts and nuts are on a background, and once these parts are assembled, you can even see it here that like those tiny shelves, what you can see here, these are all filled with those tiny parts which are made locally. So whatever it is, all these tiny things are made here at Wisefab, or something like that. We're making 100,000 of those every year in different sizes.
How many different parts do you have?
We have more than...
From bolts and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, starting from bolts and nuts up to the bigger parts, we have 6,500 part numbers, if I remember correctly. Around 6,500. So it takes quite a lot of mathematics and good computer system to make sure that it all works. So to this way. So if everything is assembled on those tables, we will put the parts on a shelf here. As you can see, all these shelves are filled with parts. We don't pre-pack the full kit before the order comes in from the customer or from the dealer. The main reason behind it is that often we're selling also spare parts, and also often parts are used for multiple different kits. It means that there is absolutely no sense to put together, let's say, E36 and 46 BMW kits, which both have the same lower control arm in it, and at one point I don't have this control arm in stock, so I have to unassemble the already pre-packed kit. So it's better to have everything on shelves. If the order comes, we will pack it together, and then we can ship it wherever it's necessary. So everything is kind of prepared here. All you have to do is just take those, put those to the boxes, and that's it. The guys here in warehouse have a really simple book where they can see exactly what has to be included to every kit. So it's pretty simple to understand that. All right, this is something like for a Nissan S13, you need this knuckle, other parts, all the numbers, so they know exactly.
What's the most popular chassis by sales in this year?
In general, I would still say a chassis, just because it's used so widely all over the world, and the US market is pretty big for us. That's a thing. But in Europe, mostly BMW, to be honest. I mean, in Europe, we do sell quite a bit of S chassis as well, but Beamer is the main thing. It used to be E36, 46, now it's more like getting to E92 and also the F-Series BMW. But in Europe, Beamer, in the rest of the world, it's Nissan. And GT86 is actually doing really well, especially in Japan and obviously in United States as well, and also in Europe. I mean, there are not too many new chassis around that are worth building a drift car out of, but those are the main chassis.
How much time does it take to develop a product?
Approximately 1 year, if asked. So basically it starts from the scratch by 3D scanning the car, the suspension parts, making the initial kinematic scheme, how it all should work, how it could be the best possible way. Then we obviously have to make some adjustments, some compromises because of the technical rules or because of the specific chassis. Then we will design, our engineers will design initial prototypes. Those will be tested in-house at first to make sure that they're strong enough. We will assemble those once again to the chassis to see that everything works, everything fits. Then these are going out for testing. Usual test period is actually 1 season, depending on the product. Sometimes it's not necessary to have such a long period, but it has happened also that we have been testing for 2 years just to make some changes so that we and the customers are happy with the result. So I would say approximately 1 year for a full set, let's say angle kit for, I don't know, for Mustang. Right now we are finishing the Mustang angle kit for S550 Mustang, the Mustangs you can see in FT. And yeah, such a project takes approximately 1 year. Then it's ready for the customers. It's tested, everything is done, finished.
And how much does it take time to produce?
Production, that's a good question because we don't produce those kits so that the production manager is ordering 5 kits and we're making everything for 5 kits. Let's say the tiny bolts and nuts washers that you saw, these we're making in thousands, which means that certain part numbers may be enough for half a year. But when it comes to knuckles, then basically from production order till it's assembled and here on the shelf, it takes approximately 4 weeks.
Okay.
So that's the thing. And yeah, we do stock everything here. We do have another warehouse in the United States for US customers. So basically everything is in stock. So it's not like that you place order and we will start our production, but it's built up so that we have parts ready for immediate shipping.
Any new products for 2024?
Yeah, as I mentioned already, the Mustang is coming out. We are working on some new rear suspensions, making some updates for Beamers as well. And yeah, some things I really can't talk right now, which are still in development. But we have 4 engineers working for us every day. So in their pipelines, we have quite a few new products. And not only lock kits or rear suspension kits, but also some other products which are around the car suspension or drivetrain. So interesting times ahead, and for sure we're trying to do our best to be around and to support drivers and teams with as many parts as possible.
What is your favorite chassis by yourself?
Oh, for myself? Oh, that's a tough one. Short answer or long one?
Long.
A long one. Oh,
if you have time.
I have. I would say if I should build a brand new car right now, let's say a pro level drift car, and our products are mostly for pro cars, then I would go for either a GT86 or maybe F chassis BMW. But in general, yeah, F chassis is still super awesome and super competitive. It's a lightweight car, but I would say GT86 right now for a few reasons. It's a decent chassis. The suspension is pretty easy to understand, maybe even compared to the E92 and the F chassis, especially in the rear. It's lightweight, it's compact, the wheelbase is pretty good, and you can get at least GT86 for a rather decent amount of money. It's not so expensive anymore, so it makes sense. But other than that, when it comes to entry-level drift cars, then still Beamers, 36 and 46, those are my favorites. But I wouldn't say that it's a good idea, especially in Europe, to build those for pro cars anymore, because it's not so easy to find a decent chassis. Not because the chassis is bad, but just it's hard to find a non-rusty exemplar, something like that.
Your favorite drivers from worldwide?
That's a good one. Obviously, some drivers we're working with, I mean, James Dean, Frederick Aspo, Odi Bakshis, obviously. Brother Shanahans. Most of the drivers, they are actually super awesome. Piotr Wieczek. There are many of them. They're pretty different. I mean, some of them are super technical and really good in giving the feedback. Some of them are really good fabricators. Some of them are just super talented drivers. And I'm super happy to work with each of them. But yeah, those are the names that just came to my mind. And with most of them that I mentioned, we have been working for many years on a lot of new products, and we have been supported them and they have supported us with the development. So we are super lucky to have all these people around and communicating with them and building a future.
And your wishes for drifters and drift fans for next year?
For next year, I hope that the economy stays the same in a good way and everybody are able to do what they love. And I hope that the sport develops. It has been developed a lot over the years, sometimes to good direction, sometimes maybe not so good direction, but right now I have really good feeling, and I hope that everything goes well when it comes to all the drift series around the world. And I have to say that it's best time what I've ever been in this sport. It's a popular sport and it's growing, and for us it's also very important, and we are happy to see that it happens. So all good luck for 2024.